It's 10 o'clock on the dot. Good evening and welcome to the news brought to you by Eswatini TV. I'm Satipo Ngwane. I'm with Zamanza. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Mbabane. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. First, your headlines tonight. The Honorable Prime Minister has urged the police to avoid corruption since it has no place within the force. The Ministry of ICT underspent by an amount of about 12 million on its budget allocation for the first quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year. The state says the sentence given to former Minister of Public Works and Transport Ntutuko Dlamini, who was convicted for murder of 3 people and for being in possession of an illegal firearm, is short and inadequate. Good evening, the news in detail. The Honorable Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini has urged the police to avoid corruption since it has no place within the police force. Now, the Prime Minister also called on the police to remain united, highlighting the strength found in solidarity. The Prime Minister urged the officers that assured the officers rather, that such issues as deteriorating housing, inadequate vehicles and salary concerns will be addressed soon. The Premier made these remarks after his visit to the Royal Eswatini Police Service designated operational line.
The Honorable Prime Minister's visit began at the Police Academy in Matapa, where he was given a tour of the facility. The Prime Minister then proceeded to the recently renovated Malkans Police Station, which had been upgraded through micro-project. Following this, he visited the Mbabane Police Camp, where he observed the poor condition of some of the old houses, noting that some were made of grass and had outside toilets. The Prime Minister's next stop was the police photography and printing service, and he concluded his visit at the police headquarters. During his speech, the Honorable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini praised the excellent work of the police officers and commended their dedication.
Siyakholwa ukuthi sekududane kwekuthi ama-conditions ethu ekusebenza abe ngangcono. Ube umuntu wekuhamba akutshela ukuthi ngaya eSwatini ngakhanza ukuthi emaphoyisa akangwane a-professional aphathana. Ngiloko vele sikukhuthatako lokuhle kwendaba. Wekuthi umuntu noma onile abone ukuthi wonile avume ukuthi wonile kodwa elokuthi i-dignity yami ayikalahleki. Sivile ngetidzingo tetimoto sekududane sekuyakhanya embili timoto titaba khona. Sivile ngetidzingo tetindlu sitibonile bezihamba nabo laba responsible for tindlu ngiko na micro project nayala na housing ala sikubonile konke lokho konke sekududane. Asifuni i-corruption within the force. Let's work transparently. Promotion, allocation yethu nangabo konke. Kuze ukuthi nabantu labasinisela ngala labasebenza kangaka basebenzela live bahlale ba-motivated. Sivile-ke ngenzaba yema-salaries. Nangayo nayo seyithudane ngoba isebhodweni yaphela. There's power in unity. There's something unique and powerful in unity that calls to God to leave the heavens, to go and see what a people who are one and who are united can achieve. Let's remain united as a police force.
The chairperson of the Prime Minister's Office Portfolio Committee in the House of Assembly, Nathi Hlophe, also expressed his appreciation for the police officers' commitment. Hlophe recalled a parliamentary report that revealed some houses, as noted by health inspectors, were deemed unfit for officers' use.
Lama conditions lamanye akhona ngicela ngifunda ireport eseparlamente angikhohlwa namanje ukuthi ngayikhanza ayikuphi le report leyo ekhuluma ukuthi letiyeta letindlu enhlala kito betempilo zabashilo ukuthi musane kuhlala kito kepha nesimo sekuthi nisebenza ngamadima nekuthanda umsebenzi lemkiwo nangesimo lesibhekana ngaso nilikhanza nihleki lesimo lesimadima kangaka. Iqiniso ukuthi bakhona abantu abangeke basimele lesimo. Kubuhlungu nabo imphoyisa ngathi uma mhlambe kuthiwa ngabokhala yini kepha-ke angisho ukuthi angikhali noma ngabe ninato nizabade bethi kahle mhlambe ethi buhlungu nisananza athi ingoti ukuthi nitivete.
The National Commissioner of Police, Vusi Masango, emphasized the need for renovations at police stations across the country, including La Vumisa and Lomahasha, to enhance services provided. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangini, Babane.
The Ministry of ICT underspent by an amount of about 12 million Malangene on its budget allocation for the first quarter of the 2024-2025 financial year. This was said by the Minister for ICT, Senator Savannah Mazia, when delivering a preamble of the Ministry's performance report for the period covering April to June this year to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the Ministry of ICT in the House of Senate.
After the delivery of the preamble to the quarterly report of the Minister of ICT by the Honorable Minister, Senator Savannah Mazia, members of the Senate Portfolio Committee commented and posed questions to the Honorable Minister, and the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Princess Ngenge, also posed her questions.
Kule first quarter kune under expenditure like Digo, it's 17% under expenditure kule Digo. It's nasibuta sikwende njani uthi umbiko wakho how process your procurement. Now my question is njengoba lokho bekwadiwa ukuthi vele kutawuba khona ngoba siyesaba lona ukuthi imali kumele ibe kwadi wena ecabinet ukuthi kube imali kangakanani na ukuthi ngaba nemali engahlala nje imele ukuthi ngalelinye ilanga ngoba nawulalela uphokuse lo mbiko cha itawusebenza kungene second quarter release lenye imali ikhanze kuhlete lenye imali kunengi lala lapha khandathi kunemithetho ushayiwe lo mthetho sekuphokhulwa ama-regulations olaka kangena endlini but asiwabona nama-regulations akafiki la lamanye athiwa se-cabinet aphehlile cabinet but akakafiki la ngoba nasafikile ngingawati mina nalamalunga lawa ukuthi regulations.
The Honorable Minister for ICT, Senator Savannah Mazia, then responded to the members of the Portfolio Committee and assured the senators that the ministry was doing all in its means to digitalize all government services and improve access to technology for all in Eswatini.
Leyo copper nenzaba yaka EPTC yinkulu ngoba I think at last estimation, kufaka nje i-fiber optic in the whole country, it's about 2.5 billion ukona PS, CO waka EPTC, stamthatha 2.5 billion, singanayo nje imali yokubhadala phone call ka EPTC. Sidinga kuyi-rebranda i-RSTP. Kukhuluma nge-RSTP and its growth is really important because kuqinisile nje ukuthi funa ngabe nyalo. We're talking about 12 years later. And in real terms, 2007, it really should be the one lemisa government in Zabadugunika Dimali. Sending a common company lang 3, and Nagosi Edelapa, Atos Labs, Yamalabs, Mama Poisa, Yamalabs, Abekaguti, many debate like Acting Guti, Emma Tinkatia, and the Raspan. Tingashala, patent to a donkey, Venema results on Gilapu.
Other responses to some of the questions by the members of the Portfolio Committee shall be provided in writing by the Ministry. Reporting, Mbongwa Dube, Lobamba.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, the Honorable Apollo Mapalale, says the National Fire and Emergency personnel lack proper equipment which impedes their ability to respond effectively to fire emergencies. Now, the Minister explained that they are currently addressing their existing equipment and identifying additional needs. The Minister made these remarks when presenting the 2024-2025 first quarterly report of his ministry before the Ministry's Portfolio Committee of the House of Senate.
The Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Apollo Mapalala, has addressed critical issues affecting the fire emergency personnel in a presentation of the first quarterly report of his ministry before the Ministry's Portfolio Committee of the House of Senate. Minister Maphalala stated that the lack of proper equipment is significantly hindering the fire emergency personnel's ability to provide essential services and respond effectively to fire emergencies. The minister acknowledged that the current state of their equipment is inadequate for the demands of modern firefighting, making it difficult for the department to perform at expected levels.
Sithatha store sayo yonke le equipment lekhona nalesiyidingako ngoba sifuna kubona ema-gaps ukuthi akuphi lama-gaps sigcwalise lawo ma-gaps lakhona sihlale.
The minister outlined a pressing need for advanced equipment, noting that as development increases, particularly the construction of multi-story buildings due to decreasing availability of land. Minister Maphalala also highlighted ongoing efforts to improve the department's staffing situation. Maphalala says the ministry is actively working on promotions and filling vacant posts to enhance operational efficiency. The minister says the new recruits are set to be deployed to various fire stations across the country. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Parliament.
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Mandla Chauka, says the government has always been alive to uncertainties brought by climate change, where now depending on rainfall for farming activities is no longer sustainable. The minister says this is why government has been trying to rapidly increase the number of dams and reservoirs across the country, especially in dry felts. The minister was speaking during the official launch of the water harvesting small and medium dams project at Tinkwene.
The project has been funded by the European Union and is worth 255 million emalangeni. The Minister of Agriculture, Mandla Chauka, has said the project aims to develop 527 hectares of farming land spread over 3 districts, namely Shiselweni, Hoho and Manzini.
Climate change and its attendant uncertainties are upon us. And therefore, depending on rainfall for our farming activities is neither realistic nor sustainable. That is why we've been trying to have a proliferation of dams and reservoirs across the country, especially in the drier parts of the land. European Union Commission, through the European Development Fund, donated 13 million euros for the construction of more medium-sized dams. This resulted in the construction of 3 new dams and the rehabilitation of 2. As it can be seen, the project was supposed to be completed in 2020, but due to a number of impediments, it was delayed and only completed in February 2024. Sahlala ke silitiko ngilapho saqala khona ukuthi sivula page lelisha senza into ngendlela lehlukile. Sifuna ukube nemiphumela kuloko lesikwendayo.
The acting Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Honourable Sikumbuzo Dlamini, has said this project is a confirmation of the EU's commitment to continue supporting development, including the country's drive to eliminate poverty.
This intervention will definitely go a long way in improving production and helping the country reduce the dependence on imports. I also wish to congratulate and appreciate the EU through Excellency for the fruitful cooperation which has lasted for over 50 years now.
The EU's head of cooperation, Eva Mia Echtel, has said the project also seeks to promote inclusive economic transformation focused on the youth and women in the agriculture sector.
The infrastructure is not the ultimate result of this pursuit. But the fresh produce that will come as a result of the infrastructure and the prevailing market demands, that is the ultimate goal that we are anticipating in the project. I therefore plead with the Ministry of Agriculture and NAM Board to double their efforts in ensuring that the infrastructure does not lie in waste.
As a result of the project, the country now has an additional water storage capacity of over 1 million cubic meters to be used by 16 agriculture production schemes. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Tando Guhlem Luli, Ngwene.
The state says the sentence given to a former Minister of Public Works and Transport, Ntuthuko Dlamini, who was convicted for murder of 3 people and for being in possession of an illegal firearm is short and inadequate. The state further states that the High Court Judge Maxine Langwenye made an error in applying the law to the facts that were presented during the trial.
Ntuthuko Dlamini was sentenced to 20 years in prison for each of the 3 murders he committed. He was also found guilty of possessing an illegal firearm and ammunition. The court imposed a fine of 5,000 emalangeni for the illegal possessions. Dlamini was convicted of murdering Themba Tsabet, School Shongwe, and Simon Dlamini. The sentence was issued by a High Court in 2023. The Crown filed an appeal at the Supreme Court of Appeal requesting a review of the sentence given by High Court Judge Maxine Langwenye. The state argues that the sentence is too lenient, claiming that Dlamini's actions were premeditated and warrant a harsher punishment such as 40 or 50 years in prison. Dlamini, on the other hand, asserts that the High Court did not misapply the law in his case. He acknowledges the crimes but argues that the sentence does not reflect his intent, claiming that his actions were not cold-blooded murder, but rather the result of a consensual circumstance. The state representative Francois Roots and Dlamini's representative T.S. Ngwenya presented their cases before Court of Appeal. The judges of the case include Sabelo Matsebula, Nkululeko Hlophe, and Judy Carey. Dlamini is currently awaiting the court's decision regarding the Crown's appeal. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, High Court.
Indigenous investors investing a minimum of 2 million emalangeni in priority sectors must qualify for all incentives targeting priority investments, according to the Eswatini National Policy on Investment. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Melus Masugu, says the policy is meant to give Eswatini more investment preference. The Principal Secretary was represented by the Registrar of Intellectual Property, Dr. Kalukolo Lulu, during the policy validation workshop at the Royal Villas at Eswatini.
The types of incentives for the businesses include fiscal incentives such as reinvestment allowances, investment tax credits, accelerated depreciation, and duty exemption. Dr. Kelukolo Lulu says this policy will level the field for local businesses.
As government, we want to give you the support to take you further, to say what is the next step, what is your expansion. We are speaking to investment. How do you attract investment?
Business expert Zizwe Vilane goes into detail about the policy.
We are prioritizing domestic investors. There's been a public outcry, which the policies they leave tend to focus more on the foreign investor and neglect the domestic investor. So what we've done differently is to prioritize a local investor. So in defining foreign investor, we've come with what we call minimum capital requirement. So a foreign investor must invest a minimum of 10 million emalangeni to qualify. Now, to make sure that there's equity, not equality, equity, we are making sure that Eswazi investing 2 million emalangeni in the priority sectors that foreign investors are also investing in will get the same incentives that foreign investors receive.
Different stakeholders have reacted to the national policy on investment.
All businesses in Eswatini really need to start benefiting from foreign direct investment as well as domestic investment. We want those linkages between the big businesses and our small businesses.
We believe that it is going to define what investment is and be in a position to give also to the SMEs, because most of Eswatini, and especially women, will start at the micro, small, and eventually grow into the medium level before transitioning into corporate. So we believe that this policy will also have the elements that are necessary to stimulate the growth of MSMEs in Eswatini.
The policy states that investments that qualify for incentive award should be limited to sectors that the government has identified as priority sectors under its current or revised development plans. The award should be offered only to investments that are not below 10 million emalangeni and 2 million emalangeni for indigenous investments. These are just some of the incentive award criteria, as the policy has a detailed outline. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzimisa, Ezulwini.
Right, with that, we segue into the world of business, where we take a look at financial indicators to give us a sense of our markets fared today in a financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. The relationship has deteriorated between siblings who are fighting over a farm and their parents' home. Now, both parents of the children have passed away, and it is said that their mother, who died 2 years ago, passed away with a heavy heart. Their late mother, who is said to have decided to vacate the disputed home, the conflict is said to have begun after her husband died in 2002.
After the death of Christian Masuku, who passed away in 2002, his widow Lulu Lizzy and their children had been involved in a dispute regarding the distribution of his estate, including his farms, vehicles, and other properties in Manzini. The dispute centers around the inheritance of the family home and other assets. The children claim that the family home was transferred to T. Masuku, a son of the deceased. T. Masuku allegedly received 50% of the estate, while the widow received only 25%.
To shorten this thing, iya approve kwabili 2005 and 2018 uyaphikisa thi kuthi kwandaphekele estate idistributeke.
They are protesting this allocation. Nobusuku says two distributions have been challenged while expenses are increasing. Z says all they want is for the estate to be finalized so everyone can move on. Masuku responds to the allegations made by his siblings. He says what happened between them had never happened before as they dragged each other to courts. He mentions that all attempts at mediation, including those by pastors and family friends, have failed to resolve their differences.
We have done what we could do to try and get a negotiated solution out of this matter. Like I'm willing. I'm sure is willing. The question is the other side willing to look at something that is a solution that is not a judicial solution?
Zanele Masuku, daughter of the deceased, shares her opinion using a virtual link. She expresses concerns about the siblings' dispute over the parents' estate, stating that her father worked hard for his assets.
All of us, I find it very difficult to understand. Obama estate because that was his money that he worked for his life.
The commissioners investigating the dispute have stressed the need for a change of heart among the siblings. He suggests that the family should work together to finalize the distribution of the estate.
And try and see where you can go. Because ultimately this is about the estate. One thing about the estate, that package
That's the requirement change of heart nabe ekusethenhlitweni lokunye ngoba angathi ukuthi ukuresolve ukuthi leyo nto leyo vele kulukhulu ukuthi ungachaza ungakuresolve ukuthi nabe ukhona lo kusho ukuthi mhlawumbe ukhona ihlobo letingafuneki la ekhaya into letinjalo.
Manzini Assistant Master Makhuzazana Mdluli states that she has lost hope that the estate will ever be finalized. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla Babane.
Welcome back. In our sports news, the Trade Fair Cup has received a sponsorship worth 7.5 million Malangeni for a period of 3 years. The Minister for Sports and the Honourable Bonganzima, who was represented by the Under-Secretary in the ministry, says the tournament plays a huge role in the development of football in the country. The tournament's launch was held at Mavuso Sports Centre in Manzini.
The 2024 Trade Fair Cup has officially been launched with a package of 2 million Emarangeni from 8Bet. The sponsorship does continue in the next 2 years, where next season it will be 2.5 million Emarangeni, followed by an amount of 3 million Emarangeni for another season, to complete a 7.5 million Emarangeni for a period of 3 years. Under Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Mzwandile Mthethwa, says the tournament contributes immensely to the development of sport.
The success of this tournament will stand as testament to what can be accomplished when we unite our efforts, pool our resources, and work with a shared vision. As we celebrate this milestone, I want to take this opportunity to rally other companies and organizations to follow in the footsteps of 8Bet. The future of sports in Eswatini, and football in particular, depends on the support and involvement of the private sector. Football, as we all know, is more than just a sport. It is a way of life. It has the power to bring communities together, to inspire our youth, and to serve as a platform for positive change.
President of the National Football Association, Peter Samaras Mirani, says that the tournament has a bright history when it comes to Eswatini football.
This is one traditional competition that has always connected football with business and the international community. We therefore appreciate the investment. We can assure government, APA, and the sponsors that football in the country, like global, is by far the greatest vehicle and medium for one to reach her target audience and clientele.
8Bet organization who injected in the sponsorship have also committed themselves to keep on supporting local football.
I-board kanye ne-management yaka 8Bet ibone kufanele kwekuthi ingasekela lona msebenzi lo ecudzelana welibhola ngemali lenganga 2 million emalangeni. Siyethemba kwekuthi sitochubeka sibe nebudlelwane lobuhle nenkampani ya Eswatini Investment Promotions Authority kanye na Premier League of Eswatini.
Chairman of the Premier League of Eswatini, Polycarp Lamini, has described the tournament as a way of testing the readiness of the teams.
The launch of such massive trade fair competition brings back the memories of yesteryears where football was the spice that made the trade fair a draw card. Allow me to pass my hearty appreciation to His Majesty's government, especially the Minister of Commerce and IPA, for their efforts in securing this groundbreaking partnership with 8Bet, our sponsor.
The tournament kicks off on the 1st to the 8th of September this year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msunira, Manzini.
Young Buffaloes ladies team head coach Fisiwe Hlophe says being exposed to more COSAFA competitions in the recent years has started producing positive results for the team that has now qualified for the semi-finals of the Women's CAF Champions COSAFA qualifiers for the first time in their history.
Buffaloes ladies team have made history by qualifying for the semi-finals of the Women's CAF Champions League COSAFA qualifiers for the first time in their history. Buffaloes are the only team that is representing the Kingdom of Eswatini in the ongoing Women's CAF Championship COSAFA qualifiers. Team head coach Fisiwe Hlophe says dedication of the girls and their experience in the competition is what inspired their great performance in the group stages.
Just tell the players that we need this game.
We've been in this tournament for the third time now, and we didn't win any game, so they have to go and fight for the nation. It's good for us going forward. They will boost the confidence, so we have to go and prepare, and they must not be overexcited because there's still a lot of work to do.
Buffalo's ladies will face University of Western Cape on Thursday at 3 p.m. local time. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, picture sourced from Kosafa.
Right, so that's how we hit the home stretch of the news at 10. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report. For now, it is a good night and God bless.